I found my job at Disney Streaming on the employability, I think it was advertised there. I had a career mentor as well. My final year project really helped me a lot because it was a really good discussion point during my interviews and so on. It's something that I sort of used to help me in my interviews. But I think what it helped me realize is actually how everything fits together, because when you're in uni you sort of learn things in bits and pieces. So you do a bit of object-oriented programming, you do a bit of this, but then in your final year project you have the opportunity to put everything together and to actually see the big picture.
I think uni helped me a lot in my first year because in one of the courses it was mandatory to do our LinkedIn, our portfolio, everything like that. I got my first internship after the first year through LinkedIn. After that, my placement, obviously university helped me and guided me through the placement process.
So it kind of started in second year when I got an email regarding this internship. From then it kind of introduced me to Salesforce, who I currently work for now. Advertisement was for a mini internship and I was like, this sounds good. And I applied for it and then I got through to the second stage and my mentor supported me with the application. And just looking at that email and actually applying for that opportunity there kind of led me into the path. The Salesforce path, I guess. From that mini internship, it led me on to another internship, and then it led me on to my job, which I have now.
I've been a professional for 5 years prior to me coming back to the uni for my master's. And I think the answer to your question is how you actually maximize the opportunities that the school offers you. I mean, you have to be proactive about it. I had to apply for Go Abroad, I did the mentorship program. So I think these are the things that really helped me even after coming out of the university. It's really how you make the most out of what the university offers you, and that's the way the university will be able to help you fulfill your goals or dreams, whether it's an internship or it's an actual job. You have to be proactive about it and let the university help you.
My biggest worry was I kept hearing everyone saying, oh, you have to apply for 100 applications and you're going to get rejected by so many different companies and all that. So from my personal experience at least, that was the opposite. I applied for maybe 5 or 10 and I did one interview stage and I got the first job I applied for. That was a very big worry I had. And also technical interviews, I thought they were going to be super hard. I think I over-prepared for them, but I didn't need to because it's much more basic level interview questions they actually ask the technical side.
I guess the worry was in my placement that I'm not doing enough, I'm an imposter here, I'm not good enough for this role. And I think one good thing was that my manager taught me at the time was to just ask questions and not really worry too much about you're not good enough, you're already there. I worried a lot about, I'm not good enough to apply for this job. But then I slowly realized I'm no one to tell myself that. I apply and then it's their job to choose that.
When I started my placement, I remember for the first at least 5 months, I did not know what was going on. I was reassured that that's completely normal. So it's really different because everything's at a much larger scale. And the best advice I can give is always to ask questions and don't be scared to ask questions. I was always worried that, I didn't know what was happening, but the more questions I asked, the more things got clearer, and that's what helped me during my placement.
I don't know if there are any international students in the audience, but my very first worry at that time was I'm an international student. The competition in the market was so soft. You're going to compete with locals and you have that notion that they would prefer someone who's locally based rather than someone who's internationally trained, comes from a different country. So that was one of my first worries. The key thing is you just have to go for it. You just have to apply. You'll definitely be rejected. Believe me, even the most profound and successful individual have had their share of rejections. It's a normal course of business. You'll be rejected, but just do it.
I've had many unsuccessful applications. I've applied to so many placements before I got the one at Disney, at least 20. And Disney actually gave me the option. I emailed them and said, look, when there's a timer, top clicking, I've got 30 seconds to answer a question, it really stresses me out and it's not a really good reflection of my knowledge. I'm just looking at this clock and stressing out, and they actually gave me the option to do a take-home test. So sometimes reaching out can help you with that. And then after I actually asked for that, were kind enough to refactor the test and make it a bit longer, and I think that really helped me to get that. So don't be too worried about all the lead code questions. We're not all that good at them, and that's fine.
You'll always have unsuccessful applications because it's not just your decision. You can all be prepared for the interview, but as mentioned, what if the interviewer wasn't in the mood or they were looking for someone else? They were looking for a particular character. So you have to tell yourself that it might be unsuccessful, but it's not entirely up to you. So you have to keep that in mind. You'll definitely find a job. There's so much opportunities out there. But if there's one thing that I would share, and I hope international students could relate to this rather, is that I almost got a job back in December for a company in Germany, and it was really a good role. And they were choosing among the two of us, like between the two of us. They told me eventually that the reason why I didn't get the job is because they had to sponsor me, and the other candidate was already an EU citizen who could, simply work without any additional expenses. So that's something that you can't do anything about, but these are things that are beyond your control. So just go out there and just accept the fact that there are things that you will not be able to control, but just do your best.
I think the placement year is the best decision I've made. I didn't want to do one because I had done a foundation year and I was like, oh no, I did a foundation year, I'm going to do a placement year, I'm going to graduate really late. And then COVID happened and I was like, do you know what? Maybe this is not a bad idea. Absolutely no regrets. I think it was the best decision I made. It really helped me get to where I am today. So I highly recommend applying for a placement. It is not a waste of time. It really, really, really isn't. I can't encourage it enough.
I like interacting with customers. My role, I get to interact with small to large businesses across many industries and just kind of speaking to customers. At first I was like, oh, this is a multi-million-pound company. I'm scared, but they're honestly just human. Another thing I dislike would be probably the certifications. So obviously when I graduated, I was like, I've got a first class degree, so I can do all things. And one of my first certifications was for their platform, so it was quite technical. And I failed my first test and I was like, oh, I just wasn't used to failure. So yeah, that did kind of put me down, but I think you just have to get yourself back up again.